Hi guys, before we get into the video, did you manage to check out the link for your pop-out poster? I received my poster and it's a must-have if you're an Arsenal fan, and it's available all around the world. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at how Arsenal could line up against Olympiacos. So we're going to start with the formation, and I think Mikel is going to stick with the 4-2-3-1 formation. And this is because I think even though Mikel has previously had some hints about a 3-4-3 switch with the likes of Gabriel Magalhaes, Pablo Mari, David Luiz all being at sensational form and maybe trying to copy what Pep Guardiola did against Fulham. But I think Mikel Arteta is going to stick with the 4-2-3-1 formation, and we're going to start with the goalkeeper, which remains an easy situation for Mikel Arteta as Bernd Leno has been in fine form, so he will be the starting goalkeeper. So we're going to move to the left back position, and this is one position that we're really starting to realise how big Kieran Tierney is to this club. As we can see, even Mikel Arteta has stated how much importance he brings to the team, and even Kieran Tierney in the latest Arsenal YouTube video, he has shown his abilities on the pitch by making sure all the players are focused, concentrated and ready to score as many goals possible. And you can see that Kieran Tierney is ready to be in the makes of the future captain of Arsenal. So that's one player we're going to go with, and his name is Kieran Tierney. Now we're going to go to the left centre-back position, and many people would like to see Gabriel Magalhaes, Pablo Mari, with other players such as David Luiz or Rob Holding be given a chance at the left centre-back position. But I think Mikel Arteta is either going to choose between Pablo Mari or Gabriel Magalhaes. But I think Gabriel Magalhaes is going to get a rest against Olympiacos because I think he was going to be the starter against West Ham United. But I think Pablo Mari is someone that's going to get his chance to reignite his strong run of form. So I think Pablo Mari is someone that Mikel Arteta is going to start against Olympiacos. Now in terms of the right centre-back position, and is Mikel Arteta going to stick with David Luiz, who has been in fine form and maybe the top defender in the latest period for the Gunners? And I think Mikel Arteta is going to stick with David Luiz, and I think there's going to be a greater chance of David Luiz extending his contract at the Gunners, and we have to wait and see if he can continue these performances to make that contract extension. But if he starts to mess about as he usually does at certain moments of time and doesn't have lapses of concentration, then he will be someone that could be key for the Gunners until the end of the season. And I think David Luiz is going to start against Olympiacos. Now we're going to move to the right back position, and I think Mikel Arteta is going to have a big decision to make. Is he going to go with Hector Bellerin, Cedric Soares or Callum Chambers? And we saw from the latest training video regarding Callum Chambers is someone that is focusing on his work. He's someone that's been talking with Mikel Arteta, trying to persuade him into the Arsenal lineup. But I think it's not going to be his chance to play against Olympiacos, because I do not think he offers that much going forward. And with Mikel Arteta already having a 2-goal advantage against Olympiacos, he may refer to a 3-4-3 system as I mentioned above. But I think with the likes of Callum Chambers being more defensive, I think he could have a good shout as well playing in the right back position. However, Mikel Arteta has also mentioned that Cedric Soares and Hector Bellerin have different qualities, and he stated that Cedric Soares is way better going forward when compared to Hector Bellerin, suggesting that he will go with a more defensive right back in the form of Hector Bellerin. And he's someone that looks like he will be leaving in the summer, but there has to be a good offer for the Gunners to accept and hopefully give Arsenal a boost in terms of cash. So now we're going to move to the left centre mid position. And Mikel Arteta was clear in his latest press conference that he's not going to rest any players because of the international games following from this game onwards and the game against West Ham United. And I think Mikel Arteta is going to stick by those words and put his best two centre mids in that position. But we'll start off with the left centre mid position, which is Granit Xhaka, that I think is starting to rejuvenate his form from that terrible mistake against Burnley, and he's someone that's starting to show his importance, and there's some solidity about his game in my opinion. But he's someone that needs to be more attacking minded in my opinion, someone that needs to be more mobile, much more quicker on the ball, and someone that needs to start to impress when it comes to his assists and goals contributions for the Gunners in my opinion. But even though, with that said, I think he's probably the best two midfielders in this Arsenal lineup. And then we have the right centre mid position, and I think Mikel Arteta is going to stick by his words, and he's going to play Thomas Partey, even though I would love to see the likes of Dani Ceballos play partnering Thomas Partey. But I think if it's based on Mikel Arteta, as we're looking at how Mikel Arteta would line up this Arsenal team, I think he's going to go with Thomas Partey, and them two are his best two centre mids. And now we're going to move to the left winger position. And it looks like, from the latest training videos, it looks like Bukayo Saka is injured, and he may put Willian back into the left wing position. But with the way Emile Smith-Rowe played against Tottenham Hotspur, he was probably the top performer in that pitch in my opinion. I think he done a lot that other players don't offer in my opinion. He's someone that's starting to show his worth to the club, and I think Emile Smith-Rowe will be starting in the left wing position. And then we're going to move to the centre attacking midfield option, and it leaves only two players in that position, maybe three. Only Martin Odegaard, Willian, or maybe Dani Ceballos, who can play into that number 10 role. But out of all those three players, someone that's hit a good run of form with 2 goals against Olympiacos and a goal against Tottenham Hotspur, someone that's starting to show his worth to the club, and someone that Mikel Arteta has mentioned that he was brought into the squad to make sure he can play in the same squad as Emile Smith-Rowe, and he's starting to show signs of what his capability is, and it looks like the latest rumours are suggesting that Mikel Arteta wants this transfer to be permanent, and that looks like it's going to rely on Zinedine Zidane, and it depends on how much Real Madrid want for the player, how much Real Madrid want to keep the player, and how much Arsenal can persuade Martin Odegaard to stay at the club. Now we're going to move to the right winger position, and it's going to be one man in my opinion. Maybe Willian and other shouts, but I think for me, Nicolas Pepe has to start this match. I think it's really unfair if Nicolas Pepe doesn't get his opportunity against Olympiacos. I would love to see Gabriel Martinelli there. I wouldn't mind Gabriel Martinelli instead of Emile Smith-Rowe in the left winger role, but it looks like Gabriel Martinelli has switched his position, so I didn't mention him for the Emile Smith-Rowe position. If you guys haven't realised why has he changed his position from left winger and right winger to the striker role, well, you guys can check out my previous videos. I've made a lot of videos on the Gabriel Martinelli videos, and I think a lot of you guys have enjoyed those videos. And it comes to one man, that's Nicolas Pepe. I think it's very harsh on Nicolas Pepe to not get a start for the Gunners in my opinion. He's the reason why Arsenal were able to win the second goal, and he's the reason why Arsenal were able to beat Tottenham 2-1. And I think when it comes to Nicolas Pepe, as I mentioned before, it's very harsh for him to not start. And hopefully there's not this bias between Mikel Arteta and Nicolas Pepe. And I always mention it time and time again. There's one problem with me and Mikel Arteta, and that's his bias. I don't know if he's doing it for the squad, I don't know if he's doing it from his personal abilities, or is he doing it from other issues. But I think there is some form of bias, and I think that's always related to a human being. You're always going to have bias, but hopefully he doesn't have that bias against Nicolas Pepe. I think he's changed a lot from what he was last season. He's more consistent, he's starting to be such a goal threat going forward, and he's starting to show at least part of his value Arsenal paid for him. And I think Nicolas Pepe deserves his right winger position. And now we move on to the striker role. And there's only 3 players for me, maybe 4, that can play in that position. That is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Alexandre Lacazette, Eddie Nketiah, and a new name that has been now put into this list, which is Gabriel Martinelli. And the reason being Gabriel Martinelli wants to play in that striker role is because Mikel Arteta sees him more of a striker and sees him more of a direct replacement for Alexandre Lacazette, who looks to leave in the summer. And with the likes of Lacazette being a bit part role for the Gunners at the moment, and Aubameyang being first choice striker, it's going to be between Aubameyang and Gabriel Martinelli. And Mikel Arteta has clearly mentioned about Gabriel Martinelli and his problem with the club, and he stated that there's no problems with Gabriel Martinelli at all, and he states that it's all his fault for the reason Gabriel Martinelli isn't playing. And if you guys haven't checked that video out, check my latest video before this one, where I talk about Mikel Arteta stating why he doesn't play Gabriel Martinelli, and it's not all due to Gabriel Martinelli, and it's pretty much 95-100% due to Mikel Arteta and just the competition between the players. So I think it's either Aubameyang, Martinelli or Lacazette. But I think Lacazette won't start. Martinelli or Aubameyang, I think it's going to be Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And hopefully he doesn't come late to this match as well, which is highly unlikely because it could be likely due to the fact that it's going to be played at the Emirates Stadium. So we could see Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang maybe coming late again, but hopefully he doesn't ruin his discipline once more, and hopefully he gets the starts against Olympiacos. And he's someone that wants to get more goals to his name, someone that wants to hit 20 goals per season if he's wearing the number 14 shirt, someone that came on Sky Sports recently, Thierry Henry, and if he wants to wear that shirt number, he has to start to show performances of a Thierry Henry-esque, and that's 20 goals plus per every season. And I think Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will be starting against Olympiacos. He will be very hungry and will be looking for revenge after what happened last time round against Olympiacos. But hopefully you guys enjoyed my predicted lineup, and not my predicted lineup essentially, it's Mikel Arteta's predicted lineup against Olympiacos in terms of how he will line up Arsenal versus Olympiacos. But if it was my predicted lineup, I would probably go with Gabriel Magalhaes instead of David Luiz and play him on a more right centre-back role. It's either switch between Pablo Mari and Gabriel Magalhaes, but I want both of them into the squad. The thing is, we seem to see right centre-backs playing in the left centre-back role, but we don't seem to see left centre-backs playing on the right centre-back role. And I think it's just a different foot, and I think they shouldn't be biased towards that. And I think why not play Pablo Mari and Gabriel Magalhaes both in the left centre-back positions and left centre-back and right centre-back positions. Also, I'll play Cedric Soares instead of Hector Bellerin, maybe Callum Chambers, but the thing is, if it's going for more defensive abilities, then we might go with Callum Chambers. But for me, I think Cedric Soares is starting to show he's a key player to the squad, and it looks like from the latest video, if you guys haven't checked it out, that Achraf Hakimi transfer looks more and more unlikely. And also, in terms of Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey, why not play Thomas Partey in the left centre-mid position and give Dani Ceballos a go in the right centre-mid position? And in terms of the striker, I would love to see Gabriel Martinelli there, but I think Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang deserves a start. He didn't play against Tottenham Hotspur and he's hungry for goals. So this is how Arsenal would line up against Olympiacos, and I've given my suggestions below as well. And other than that, guys, remain blessed, stay tuned for the next video, and peace.